Hello guys, welcome back to another tips video. This is the round 20 tips for 2026. And yep, the World Cup is finished, Kids Go Free is finished, and yep, start off with Adelaide and Collingwood. 12-6 to 10-7-1. Last time they played each other was in round 1, and that was when Adelaide won this. And yep, Pies won 5 in a row after beating Josh Fraser's Carlton. And yeah, for Collingwood, Membry kicked 3, Nick Dacos had 36 disposals and 7 tackles for Ed Allen. And Adelaide, Fogarty kicked 4, Rankin had 30 disposals and Wayne Miller had 128 AFL Fantasy. And yep, anyways, starting off Thursday night with Crows by 14 points. And yep, moving on, Friday night, D's and Cats, 10-8 to 12-6. Last time they played each other was round 4 last year. That game when track was in tears after the siren sounded, and before that, that was the game when Cameron was inaccurate and Fritsch kicked that stealer. And yep, Melbourne booted 6 unanswered goals from either side of half time to turn that deficit into a 15-point lead when Van Rooyen slotted his second. Injuries with Daniel Turner and Shane Jaff. And Geelong have only won their second game after round 11. However, Jay Polkinghorne kicked 2 goals in his first game. Wow. And yep, the D's, Jefferson kicked 4, Sparrow 33 disposals, 130 AFL Fantasy for Sparrow as well, and 6 tackles as well. And yeah, the Cats, Brian Myers kicked 3, Bailey Smith 35 disposals, and Tom Atkins 8 tackles. Anyways, maybe Demons by 2 points. Well, yep. Moving on, the other Friday night game was the Western Derby. Dockers and Eagles, 16-2 to 4-14. Last time they played each other was round 6. Yep. Freo turned a 12-point halftime deficit into a 28-point win. Andrew Brayshaw finished amongst the best with 30 disposals, 9 contested possessions, 7 score involvements, and 491 metres gained. For the Dockers, Amos kicked 4 as usual, and Sarong had 9 tackles. And West Coast, Jake Waterman kicked 5, Tim Kelly 7 tackles. Yep. Anyways, we're going to be tipping Freo by 31 points. Yep. That is Friday. That's now. It's time for Super Saturday. Starting off with Carlton and Gold Coast. 8-10 to 7-11. Last time they played each other was round 22 last year. Josh Fraser's Blues were beaten again. This time Collingwood. They had injuries to Ari Mackay, which is his left knee, and Adam Chera for a right hamstring. And yeah, and Gold Coast lose 8 in a row. This time to the Bulldogs. And yep, things are going terrible for the Suns. And yep, Duke Miller had 39 disposals, 124 AFL Fantasy, and Matt Rowell had 11 tackles. And for Carlton, Paddy Cripps 133 AFL Fantasy. Anyways, Carlton by, to keep their season alive, by maybe 21 points. And yep, now moving on to Hawthorn and Essendon. 12-5-1 to 2-16. Last time they played each other was in round 1. Yep. For the Bombers, they won an upset against the Giants. That was their first win under Dean Solomon. First win since beating the D's in Gather Round, and their first victory in Melbourne since the 23rd of May 2025 in that dream time against Richmond. Now they're off the bottom, which means Richmond are at the bottom again. And for the Bombers, Nick Bryan kicked 2, Jacob Farrow kicked 2, And Caldwell 7 tackles, Isaac Hacker 7 tackles, and Zach Merritt 35 disposals, 123 AFL Fantasy. Yep, Hawthorn, they're within 2 points of Sydney in second. Mitch Lewis kicked 5, Nick Watson kicked 5, Jarman MP 34 disposals, 137 AFL Fantasy. Anyways, Hawthorn by 55 points. Oh, yep. Now we are moving on to the Sydney Showdown. This is Giants and Swans, 13 and 5 to 8 and 10. Last time they played each other was in round 6. That was in that lightning delay, I reckon was. Yep. Swans were beaten again, this time against the Crows, and they've shattered the Swans' unbeaten home streak. And Giants were upset by the Bombers. They blew their chance to go into the top 10. Jake Stringer, oh my god, that might be worse than Tom Lynch earlier this year. 2-7, but he kicked 0-7. Oh my god. Embarrassing. What happened here? You kicked 7 against Freo. Yeah. For the Giants, Toby Green kicked 2. And yep, anyways, moving on to Sydney. Pavley kicked 4 and Callum Mills 8 tackles. And yeah, maybe Swans by maybe I reckon 25 points. Yeah. Moving on. Bulldogs and Richmond. 11 and 7 to 2 and 16. Last time they played each other was round 15 last year. Dogs have beaten the Suns, and for Richmond, Tim Taranto had 8 tackles, and Bulldogs, Bontempelli kicked 3 and Matthew Kennedy kicked 3. Anyways, Bulldogs by 67 points. Yep, that's Super Saturday. Now Sunday ticket with Brisbane and Port, 12 and 6 to 6 and 2. Last time they played each other was round 17 last year. And yep, Brisbane wins 6 in a row to keep its grip on a top 4 spot. This time against West Coast after being down for most of the first half. And Port, they were up by 12 points at half time, and then they just choked to lose by 28 points. And yep. For Port Adelaide, Joe Richards had 31 disposals and 137 AFL Fantasy. And Brisbane, Josh Dunkley 7 tackles, also had 130 AFL Fantasy, and Lockie Neal 32 disposals, and Will Ashcroft 32 disposals. Anyways, Brisbane by 37 points. Our last game is North and St Kilda, 8 and 10 apiece. Last time they played each other was round 21 last year. North have lost 3 in a row, this time to the D's, and Saints lose to the Cats by 27. And yeah, they led by 25 points late in the first quarter, North Melbourne. And yeah, for the Saints, Rowan Marshall had 139 AFL Fantasy, Darcy Wilson and Campbell Lake had 8 tackles. And for North, Harry Sheasel had 33 disposals and 6 tackles for Cooper Trimbath. Anyways, Saints by 6 points. And yep, these are our tips for round 20. Anyways, please make sure to join my tips comp. It will be in the link in the description down below if you want to join. Anyways, thanks for watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe for more AFL tips videos.